Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and today I got my rock bucket out in the barn because I want to get started on putting that grapple on there. But before we get going on that, I don't know if you guys can see, but above me and behind me here, I got a light that's out. Last summer, I was backing the tractor out of the barn, not paying attention, and lifted the pallet forks, caught the electrical box and the cord with the pallet forks, cutting the cord and crushing the box. So today, we're going to work on getting that fixed up, finally. So here's the box in question. You can see I crushed the box and got some wires hanging out. So we need to take that apart and replace that box and that one connector that's broken. So the first thing I need to do is turn off the lighting circuit. And yeah, I never labeled my panel box. So we're just gonna start turning off breakers until the lights turn off. There we go. So with the lights off, you can really see how many holes and gaps and all that good stuff are in the barn. Definitely use a little bit of work. Now that the power is off, I can work on disconnecting the switches. Even though there's no damage at these switches, I need to remove the wires out of the conduit that goes down to the switches, so I'm able to get the damaged box out. Two of the switches don't have internal clamps on them to hold the wire, so I have crimp-on forks that go underneath the screw, crimp down to the wire, and those won't pull through the conduit when I pull the wires out. So I'm just going to cut them up a little bit higher, leave a tail, and then I'll just splice the forks back on instead of trying to crimp new forks on later. And then I just straighten up the wires a little bit to make them easier to pull out of the conduit. Now I can remove the outlet and cover from the damaged box. With the outlet and the switches removed, I can now pull the wires out of the conduit that went down to the switches. Now I can take down the straps and remove that piece of conduit down to the switches. With that conduit out of the way, I can go ahead and remove the straps on the two conduits that are still in the box and the screws for the box to remove the box. I don't know if you guys have ever tried taking out bent screws, but it's a pain in the butt. Now that I got that all apart, before I start putting things back together, I'm going to inspect these wires, make sure they didn't get any damage. Everything's looking really good. Now I can get the new box set up, and I'll use the old box as an example to make sure I get all the connectors in the same knockouts as the old box, so everything fits perfectly. Now with the box set, it's just all got to go back together. There we go. Lights are on. I should probably label this. Yeah, I'll do it later. Okay, so for the last part of the repair, we will work on fixing this cord end. I'm just going to put a new plug end on it. We could just, stuck this in the box and hardwire it, but I like the idea of being able to unplug it, especially since a couple of these lights have already failed and I've had to replace them. So what we're going to do is start by scoring the insulation. I don't want to cut too deep. I don't want to cut into it. Just score the coating until I get to the very end. And then I will cut completely through the insulation just so I can pull it apart. And I'm not stripping it very far back because you do not need a lot of exposed wire for these outlet plugs. Okay. Cut the insulation off. Take the two halves of the plug apart. Slide that over. So I actually probably have these a little bit too long, so I'm going to just trim them down a little bit. Like I said, you don't need a lot. The last thing you want is your bare wire, your wires outside of your plug. Okay, now I can take my cover, slide that down, tighten my 3 screws, and then tighten the screws to hold the cable. You don't want to over tighten this. You just want to snug them up so that the plug can't move and take the strain off the wires that are inside the plug. But you also don't want to pinch the cord too much either. And you just want to snug it down so the cord can't move in the connector. And there we go, got a cord end on. Beautiful. So it's only taken 5 months to get this fixed, but it's back on. It feels good to have it done finally. It's really nice because all winter I've been working without that light there. And you can see where the workbench is set up, so I've had no light in front of me. So hopefully that will help make the videos a little bit brighter and help make working on things a little bit easier, especially since I'm going to be working on the grapple right in front of that workbench there. So, but that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.